Hello, everybody. We're back with it's Thursday, right?
Thursday.
Forget what day it is. It must be Bite-Sized Thursday, a subsidiary off Slate Media. Today, we are tackling more of Sherlock. We are going to be watching I believe it was a Christmas special?
It's a Christmas special.
The Abominable Bride.
Abominable Bride. Yes, came out in New Year's Day 2016, in which the...
Oh, so it wasn't really Christmassy.
It says on IMDb, a Christmas special.
New Year's Day, a Christmas special?
That's what it says.
Well, I guess in England, Christmas lasts a week and a half.
Yeah, and it's...
I guess a week.
And it's funny because, like... It's funny how, like, it's kind of similar to what you've told me of the Doctor Who specials, too. Don't they kind of air between, or, like, on Christmas, or... Like between Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, it used to be they aired on Christmas. I don't know that it's the same anymore. But I have never seen this. Continuing the arc. I think I've seen a representation of this story. I don't know if it is a Sherlock story, but I think I've seen a representation of it somewhere. Maybe I randomly watched a episode of Elementary or something. But I vaguely remember it.
I know nothing about it, of course. And, well, the only thing I know is it was a year before Series 4 started airing to the day. It's a special, and it takes place, judging by what I've heard, read, and see on the poster, it's just... It's like a Sherlock story back in older times. I'm going to guess 19th century.
Ye old when the telephone was new days.
Yeah, I look at the poster, and Sherlock's got a top hat, and Watson's got a bowler hat, and the mustache. Like, it's like, okay, this is supposed to be somewhere mustache. Probably late 1800s, I'm guessing. Just looking at that, it's like, okay, if it's just a special taking place at that time, probably around the time the original stories took place, okay, I'm game. That's all I know.
I mean, I'm always excited for 1800s English Christmas.
Yeah.
When everybody was starving and
no one had
dying
a job.
And wasn't that around when the Christmas Carol was written?
Yeah. Again, if you ever watched our favorite Christmas Carol adaptations, we mentioned how it was a very bleak time, and that's why Dickens' story was supposed to be a beacon of hope, something to raise spirits.
Which is funny because when we read it now, we go, this is kind of dry. Like, if you actually read it.
I've never read it. I should read it.
Oh, Old English literature is very dry.
It's very information over emotion.
Yes.
And it reads like a textbook.
Yes.
And
so I don't know how we emote so much out of that story, because I have read it before.
Is it a short story or is it like a novella? Because it's not long.
I think it's both. I think it was a short story.
Oh, it was published in like...
But I have like a little
installments?
like a box set that is like of Dickens' work that has its own like dedicated book. I haven't read that copy, so I don't know like if it's like illustrated or something like that. But I think originally it was a short story. In fact, I think it's free online if you look for it.
Interesting. But yeah, that's kind of the
vibe.
Yeah. Were Conan Doyle and Dickens contemporaries, or are they separated by time?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll look it up during the break.
Well, I kind of want to look it up now, so let's...
Take a bite.
Welcome back. We just watched The Abominable Bride.
Abominable Bride.
Abominable. I really liked it.
I did too.
I'm a sucker for Christmas things. If you watch this show for a long time, you know that I love Christmas.
Which is funny because only like the first 15 minutes is Christmas.
It still has a vibe about it, though. I thought that this was a refreshing change of pace myself. We're going to spoil it, so spoiler warning.
For The Abominable Bride.
I like how it ties into the main series. It confused me a little first because I'm used to American TV where when they tie it in is at the very end instead of in like the middle-ish. I, of course, love when Moriarty comes back. Like whenever he comes back, like it could just be like an anti-buddy cop movie or series of just Sherlock and him, and I'd be satisfied.
Yeah, the scene in Sherlock's parlor where Moriarty shows up in 1895 or whenever they said it was, I don't remember. When the room started shaking, I instantly went, "It's in his head." Okay, other people saw this coming before probably. I had a feeling, but at that moment I go, "Yep, it's all in his mind. This is one elaborate like mind palace thing."
I started to catch on when Minecraft said the virus and the data, which I don't know if that's before or after that conversation.
You said Minecraft.
Yes.
I don't.
Sorry,
remember.
Fatcroft.
He said the virus and the.
Yeah, he said the virus and the data.
Okay, because I thought Moriarty said the hard drive and the virus at the waterfall. Yeah, okay.
At the waterfall, but Minecraft said it, and that's what was kind of like, oh.
Yeah, for those jumping in, we call him Minecraft, not Minecraft.
Or Fatcroft for this episode. Yeah. And we're not fat shaming because we are fat ourselves.
Or Minecraft Services is a better way to say it. I really enjoyed how it ties in, like you were saying, how he's trying to solve in his head this unsolved crime from over 100 years before, because it ties into Moriarty presumably being alive. And it's like it's got to be the network is keeping him alive, not necessarily as like Moriarty as we know is dead, but like the network working with him that Sherlock thought he had destroyed off screen is still functioning. And I think it was you when we cut back to Sherlock on the plane. You're like, "What's going on? They didn't solve it." And I said, "Well, yeah, because the thing's tied to each other. He's trying to figure out one." Figure out the other. Again,
that whole American brain thing.
Yep. And not like I knew where it was going, but it was a moment of, I know what they're doing. I don't know where it's going, but I know what they're doing.
I like that we got to see the scene of them at the Reichenbach Falls.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I think maybe. Yeah.
So you mean the waterfall from the final problem?
The waterfall in the final problem where Moriarty gets pushed off of the waterfall.
Gotcha. And that was the last Conan Doyle Sherlock story, because it's supposed to, like, obviously by the title, but it's supposed to be this rivalry between these two masterminds comes to a blow at the falls, and Sherlock, to take him out of the problem, take him out of the equation, gets rid of him.
I have no idea if it was like I don't know.
Very dramatic, fitting end to, a character like that for the original run.
Or in this case, a very bad green screen.
Yeah, it was funny when Watson just kicked him off though. Ah! And you're like, I have never laughed so hard at a death.
Yeah, I haven't laughed that hard at a death since the Scorpion King.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, when Memnon lights on fire and falls over the cliff.
I'm the only one in the theater laughing. Loudly, too.
But, yeah, I like how we're cutting back and forth, and it's supposed to be he's going into his mind palace, setting up this elaborate thing where he and Watson exist back at this time, and it's because he's trying to wrap his head around how Moriarty could still be alive, and, of course, he is using. And that's when it's like, okay, yep, he's an addict, as they have established before this, and he uses it to help him think. But as one of the last scenes showed us, he's upping the dosage, because he says 7% is not fatal, and abstinence is not immortality or something. And it's like, yeah, I get, it's not a good idea, but I get where in his mind he's rationalized it. Like, if I just take a little bit to help me think and spread it out and I'll be fine, but it sounds like he's losing control because he almost overdoses.
One of the things I really like is how just committed to the bit they were of the Minecraft is getting fat. They started that in the second episode of last series with him running on the treadmill.
I was thinking about that too. Like, that's
they just
funny.
Committed right through it.
And you think like, You think at first, like, are they like making fun of fat people by just making it like the joke is, hey, he's fat, but then you realize, no, the joke is they are so bored, these two intellectual brothers, that to play a game of sorts, he's going to try to eat himself to death, but see if he can outlive Sherlock's, like, death estimate. It's the most sadistic, demented thing,
I was just
thinking funny.
that in Sherlock's mind it reflects what Mycroft's been doing for the past few episodes.
Because he says, like, I noticed your waistline's a little bigger or something. It's like, it makes sense why that'd play into his head. And all the meta jokes that were brought up, it's like, okay, once it's established that this is just in his mind, it makes more sense. It's like, it's not them just being cheeky and telling us how things work in the narrative as much as it's how he's rationalizing things in his mind.
When the show started, it was kind of cringy, but after we knew what was happening and John shows up at the falls and says that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll buy that. Also, Molly as a man, wonderful. She did a good job of that. The extra
Molly.
The extra oomph in the lips to make the mustache really move and the jawline forward and everything.
Yeah.
Like that takes some skill.
Yeah, it's one of those where the mystery at the center of it isn't the most elaborate and isn't the most surprising, and I wonder if that's why some people's reaction to this was a little less.
I liked it better.
A little less, a little more divisive, a little underwhelming for people. Like, it's good, but they're like, it doesn't feel like the best that Sherlock's had. And it's like, well, it's because it's not an episode. It's a special. It's just like Many Happy Returns. It bridges the gap between two series. The difference being, instead of a 7-minute, webisode, it's a 90-minute special with a full-fledged story.
I liked it.
I like it. I really liked it.
It feels like Series 3 to me.
Yeah, one thing I was noticing is they paid extra attention to the lighting. A lot of it was natural light or candle light. And I think it looked really good.
Probably to help sell at least with Molly, the gender swap there.
And the authenticity of the time.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked really good. The costumes and sets were really good. It's like you can tell the budget's higher. It's a popular show.
I will say, when the Abominable Bride first comes back and kills her husband, I was laughing pretty hard at, like, the cab driver is just sitting there watching this.
Because he's in on it.
You don't know that, though, at the time.
I had a feel. You were, like, laughing. I was like, he's probably in on it.
Well, yeah.
Whatever this is.
But still, it's just the image of this dude just sitting there watching this ghost kill this man, and then the police officer runs over. Also, if he was in on it, it's not a he, obviously.
That's true.
Never mind, I won't say that. That's bad. I'd have to have you cut it.
Yes. And then Sherlock digging in that hole was all in his mind, too, apparently.
Was that to prove that Moriarty's network killed her? I don't really understand.
We have an episode next week that will probably tie into this somehow.
I didn't understand that, other than just being the boiling point of detox, maybe?
I don't know. All I know is there's more going on than we're aware of yet, and Moriarty, as he said, no, Moriarty's dead. He blew his brains out. It's like he's rationalized that he's not back, but someone's trying to make it. Unless he is alive somehow, and we get another convoluted way that someone isn't dead.
I would be okay if Moriarty just exists in his mind.
Yeah. It's like you're never going to get over this.
I hope that he's in Series 4, but sort of like in his mind.
Yeah, it's that part of him, like, he technically lost, and he was outsmarted by someone, and that's why he can't get over it, because it's someone who gets to him and just won't go away. Like a couple episodes ago, or was it the last episode? I can't remember. They all start blending together. He goes deep into his mind palace and sees him in the padded room. Mm-hmm. In that whole sequence, it's like, yeah, this guy is just deeply rooted in his subconscious. And Andrew Scott is just wonderful.
Oh yeah. Boy.
Every movement of his face, like in his right before he puts the gun to his tongue, moments before, where he's like cracking his neck, and he's just all stiff, and then just like that. It's like every little twitch is calculated. And then, of course, with the gun on his tongue, and we saw the subtitles, and so we could understand him. And then he says, "Hey, he's in your sexy," and you're just like, I love this guy.
What did the subtitles say again?
Dead is the new sexy.
Yes.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. As it works more as a bridging special than a standalone thing, because you need context to watch it, and then it's setting up for things. But for what it is, I had a good time.
Yeah. I will say that I talked before the break about how I think I had seen this represented in another story. No, I was wrong. It was this. I had seen the setup to this, and then whether I walked away because it was on BBC America or turned the channel because there are 27,000 ads, and I just can't be bothered with that. I had seen this and kind of filed it away in the back of my head.
Gotcha. So we are in, unknown territory for you, but there's a little part of this that you had seen.
Yes, I don't think there's any more. There was bits and like the first 2 episodes of Series 3 I had definitely seen, and then bits and pieces of this, it feels like.
Yeah, I can't imagine like watching this, and that's probably another reason why it's not as popular. Like, you wait 2 years, then you watch this, and all it is setup, because it's not an episode, it's a special. And they spend most of it in the past, where most people are like, get back to the present, what are you about Moriarty? Because they waited 2 years. And then you get this, and then it's another year before it continues. And it's like, yeah, that'd be a little frustrating, but also, like, we have the advantage of just watching them week to week.
Also, Freeman, at the time, still even now, probably Freeman and Cumberbund are very high demand actors.
Cumberbund more so. Freeman hasn't been in big things. Like, he's been a supporting character in a couple big things, but
he's in the MCU now, isn't he?
Yeah.
What year was this?
This was 2016, which was the same year as Civil War, which is...
Was that the last... No, it couldn't have been the last Hobbit movie.
No, that was 2014.
That started
That's 12, 13, 14, I think. Okay. Or is it 13, 14, 15?
I don't know.
It's early 2010s. Yeah, The Hobbit's over by this point. But, like the MCU, this is also the same year. Actually, both of them made their MCU debuts this year. Like, this is before that, but... Because Doctor Strange is in, like, November of 2016. Civil War was, I think, the May or April release. And then, of course... Martin Freeman's most recent one was Wakanda Forever, and that was a year and a half ago from when we recorded this. But that's like the only big thing I've seen him in the last year or two. He was in that. I know he was in a movie with Jenna Ortega last year or this year, like some weird like age gap love thing, and I hear it sucks.
I saw an article about that the other day about how he complained how it sucks so bad.
Yeah, so that's like the only things I know about recently for him, which is a shame because very talented.
Some people are just TV actors, though.
Yeah, and if I didn't mention it in the opening, this previous episode, His Last Vow, Martin Freeman won the Emmy for that. That's the one that they pushed for his consideration. He got nominated for and won, which we had said is like his finest hour so far as Watson.
Yeah.
So just wanted to mention
hour
that.
And a half.
Yeah.
I also want to make mention of. Oh God! It went out of my head. I had it right at the front of my mind, and it just went by. Keep talking. I'll think of it.
I don't think I have much more to say. It functions outside of the show while still being the show. Like it's an interesting way that they bridge the gap between the series 3 and 4 by being a full-length thing. But I did really enjoy it.
All right. Well, I can't think of what I had to say. It was right there, and then I leaned forward, and while I think about it, Jared, tell them where they can find us.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can follow us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell. Make sure you like us and rate us on all those apps, and check out our groovy website.
Yeah, you go. And so that's all I got. And so every Thursday, if you want to come along this, solve more mysteries. We're getting close to the end. We had 3 more, which is a shame because I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I've also read that they are very open to
returning,
doing more.
Yeah. It's just been a while. But
like I said, every Thursday, come along, solve more mysteries with it. And next week, we're taking a look at what's the episode for next week?
I believe it was, what was it? The dog one.
The dog one?
There's a picture of a dog on the cover. The 6 Thatchers.
The 6 Thatchers.
Which a Thatcher is someone who fixes a roof.
Yeah.
But I learned that from A Knight's Tale.
What a random callback to a movie you watched a couple of days ago.
Well, his name is William Thatcher.
Fair point. All right. Other than that, let's
take a bite.